Welcome back to Total Spotfest. This is JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. We are honored to have you with us today as we get ready for Revolution this coming weekend. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. Jamie, how have you been this past week?
Busy, but your intro had a nice ring to it as well.
It did it not? Did it not?
Yeah.
For those of you already watched, already know, we're just being cheesy AF right now, but that's okay.
We're being punny.
We can do that.
Punnies.
One of these weeks, you're not going to be busy as hell. You're going to have, it might be years from now, but
When I'm dead.
Dead. Come on. So.
But before we start, as this release, happy 7th birthday to my daughter Audrey. Today is her birthday, everybody. So if you could leave in the chats, happy birthday, Audrey, she would absolutely love it. She is a big wrestling fan. I'm actually taking her to her first wrestling show next month. So
that's right.
She is officially of age.
Is it just the two of you going, or did you get tickets for anybody else?
Still working that out. So I at least am getting two. I still haven't got them, but there's plenty of tickets available. So it's at least gonna be us two. It might be more. We'll see. Minimum two.
So it could be Not My Champion coming too.
I mean, your champion definitely could be a possibility, but I'd rather her go to the Journey Pro extravaganza
100%, which we're going to talk about in 1 second here. So if you are, as I always say, if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Give us a comment down below, join the conversation. You can holler us at Twitter on @TotalSpotFest. Otherwise, if you want to get in touch, yell and scream at us, use the hashtag #NotMyChampion. Please, let's make that thing a spread.
We're also on the Book of Faces too, so you could go to the Facebook and look up our page of Total Spotfest, and you could leave us.
Find us on them internets. And comment, like, subscribe, all the things. It does help us out quite a bit. So, Journey Pro had, when we talked with Heart, Soul, and Chris last week. Was that last week? Was the week before? I don't even know. It was
last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't even know.
Time is a flat circle. What can I say? So. Yeah. It was last week. So we talked with them kind of, to go over the Love Below. They said that they didn't have anything to announce yet. There are things in the works. They're going to have some stuff. Well, they released that Upon the Wild. And for those of you who are not following Journey Pro, what's wrong with you? I mean, come on. Give them a follow. But B, the announcement was that they are opening their own venue. It's from what I've heard, it's where they're going to do like their training stuff too. But they're using it for shows. It's in the West Bottoms area as well. Cool. So it's not going to be far from Blip Roasters for those of you who are familiar. It's going to be right around the similar area. Pretty easy to get to from all over the metro in Kansas City as well, right in the center there. Mm-hmm. Although there's some highway work that's going to make getting there from up north interesting, I think.
And better parking though. Better parking.
They will have better parking, more space, taller space.
Yes.
Get some tighter ropes and some flippy spinny shit. Yes, please. I want to see Kenny Alfonso do I want to see him do like shooting star press and all the good stuff. So I don't know if he can, but I'm sure he can.
I think he can. He's athletic as all hell. So why not?
Their own venue, and so to open it up, they're doing a grand opening extravaganza of sorts. I don't remember the exact kind of terminology they used for it, but it's gonna be a 2-night deal. Don't know the details yet. Is that 2 separate shows? Is that like a kind of unveiling party? And I don't know. I have no idea. But 2 nights, the 28th and 29th of April. So no show in March. April, 2 nights. And during those 2 nights, by the time we are done with that, we will have our official first ever Journey Pro World Champion.
At the show?
Yeah, did you miss that part?
That's what I read. I was just like, you serious? I thought okay, so it's probably night 2. So they're doing all the qualifiers, then going for it
Well,
night 2.
I'm figuring it's going to be so it's a Thursday and a Friday. So I think that just speculation. We'll of course talk to Chris, talk to Hartzell, DJ, Walter. Before then, of course. And I assume in the next few weeks here, we'll start to get more details come out. But it's going to be some combination because the Thursday show, I imagine it'll be a lighter of a show, maybe a couple hours plus like a little kind of intro into the new venue and then a big Friday show bit. I don't know what the details are. I don't know how many people are involved in this as well. You know, Chris said they had a bracket, penciled in, but all this with the new venue, I think is kind of altering some things. So all I remember is and if you follow them on Twitter, you can go. I think Facebook is all one big post, but on Twitter they have continued 8 times over. So
Yeah.
you have to get down there a little bit in the conversation to actually get to the bits, the juicy bits of it. So,
Dirty
but
bit.
but they have the words and things of title. So they have titled it. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and I don't.
It's it was, jeez Louise, man. Now you
Oh
gotta
my God.
Twitter it up. I didn't have my Twitter up for once. And this is what I get repaid with when I don't have my Twitter ready.
Now you see, these are the things that. Oh my God, we are
of the things.
All
things, all good things, all good things
flow into the city is what it was. Do you know where that's from?
I do. Things?
I do.
All the good things. I don't know.
No, you're not even close. Not even close. That is when you're underwater and you're going into the city of Rapture in BioShock, the signs that lead you in there say that all good things lead into the city. All good things of this earth flow into the city is technically what it is. So it's So it's either that, because that's the image that they use too, is an image from the video game, with the Journey Pro logo kind of placed over it. So I think this was Chris's turn, his good idea, and his video game nerd self came forth, and all good things flow into the city. It's originally a quote from Pericles, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, anywho, we're getting way down a tangent here, but no. So that's the name of the show's the event, if you would. Much more to come, but great big news, and it's fantastic. Better parking, bigger venue. I think it's all good things for Journey Pro. So super happy for 100%. Them. It's going to be fantastic.
The future is bright for the Journey of Pro.
Yes, it is. All right. Other than that, I know we got some Impact stuff I want to talk about here in a little bit. This is, everything's kind of gearing up for AEW's Revolution. So everything else kind of took a back seat to that. I know that there's been some little announcements here and there from around the pro wrestling world. There's GCW's having their big weekend at the end of the month in Dallas. And my God, the matches that keep getting announced for it are just one after another. Like Joey Janela's Spring Break is going to have Effie versus Minoru Suzuki. I know.
Wow.
I know. And there's so many events, it's hard to keep them all straight. Mission Pro's putting on an event for the collective. Effie's Big Gay Brunch has announced pretty much everybody to be there. They have so many. I think this is his biggest brunch. I really do. It's Chicago's pretty big. And, New York was pretty, but this is just so many announcements. So tons of stuff there. We unfortunately can't make it. We can't make it down there for the GCW weekend because it would have been a
Yeah.
fucking blast, but it also would be very exhausting. There's like 13 shows in like 4 days.
Ooh, yeah, that's a bit much of the wrestling for Jamie.
Well, and I think
Maybe
that
they'll talk
night,
about
I think that night two of Joey Janela's spring break starts at like 11:59 p.m. on Friday night.
Oh wow.
And if he's get Big Gay brunch is 11 a.m. the next morning. So crazy stuff. There has been one thing I did want to make mention of, because we're going to get into numbers and talk about shows in a second here, but on speculation AEW wise, because of just the way that they've been going along. Tony Khan's big announcement last night is going to play into that a little bit here, but I had put out there Mark Stradamus' statement regarding Revolution and one Johnny Gargano that I don't think's gonna happen.
Ooh.
Here's
Why is that? Yeah.
Well, here's why. So, as we know, we've mentioned that Gargano had his child recently. He purposely didn't want to sign anywhere after he got his thing because he wanted to be there for his wife, the baby, be there for the first bit. I actually follow Gargano on Twitch, and I was watching one of his Twitches a few nights ago, sometime within the past week. And he was just chatting before getting into a video game, and he was talking about a lot of that stuff, right? And he's been very candid about having, body dysmorphia and different things and life events and all that stuff. It's partially why everybody likes him so much is he's so open. He's an open book, right?
Yeah.
So, two things that he said. He said that because, they just had the baby, this and that. No, he's not in the best shape. He hasn't really been, in like his ideal wrestling shape. And he says that when he does come back, he wants to look better than he ever has, because that's you don't take time off and come back looking worse than you did before. And I'm like, I can understand that.
That's fair.
So that's one. Fair. That's one. And for two, it just everything he's made mention of made it sound like he is not looking to go back yet and still be with this baby for a few more weeks.
That makes sense.
So I want to pull back. I don't think that's going to happen. I thought that it was all lining up perfectly, and in a way it was. But I don't know. It's funny because it's like ever since I started like getting into, following wrestlers on Twitch and just having it on in the background, I'm picking up all sorts of things. Like Mia Yim, she'll just spill the beans about pretty much anything almost, it feels like, so anyway, it's just interesting stuff. So that's really the only bit I want to talk about. I know that there's a lot that it's going to really come into play as far as free agents and new things, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's talk about the past week in wrestling, because I assume that you have numbers on your screen ready to give to the world.
I do. I really do.
He does. He really does.
And I have a cat that is going to go nuts any second. So enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So for the wrestling community, actually, everybody was up except for one show, which is
that's good.
Drastic compare, like last week, only 2 shows were up and everybody else was down. So, hey, here are ratings. So Raw, the former flagship of WWE, went from 1.60 to up to 1.825. So they're creeping back closer to the 2 mil mark.
Okay.
Not quite there, but they're getting there.
This is the road to WrestleMania. Everyone's getting amped. Everyone's getting amped for that potential Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee match.
Yay!
I read that headline. I said, "You gotta be," but whatever. I digress.
I would not put it past them.
It's gonna happen.
But it's not really gonna be him. It's gonna be somebody else. Obviously,
the whole thing's gonna be a work. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Then NXT was also up. They went from 525 to 612. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty good. And actually, I did watch it.
I watched a couple matches from it.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you did watch the whole thing? What'd you think of it?
I watched the whole thing. I think Nikita Lyons is going to be a star.
I'm not sold on her, but
I don't
okay.
like her package, but
No, that's
girl
why I'm
can
not sold
wrestle.
on her. I don't know.
But the girl can wrestle, and she's got it. So that's like the thing. Like you see it, I just don't like what she's like. Her garb and like her entrance and her music just didn't fit her, in my opinion. But her wrestling was top freaking notch. She just got to figure out the right package for her, and she'll be a star.
Eh,
But they've been struggling finding right packages for people for years.
a lot of them, and including currently C. Saray, for example.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
what else did you think about it? Was that the only real takeaway you had?
I mean, they have so many good talents, but overall the show is just blah.
See, I watched a couple. I watched that. I watched the who was it? It was Ivy Nile and the possible Diamond Mine. I don't know, some other chick versus Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro.
Oh yeah, that lady. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting a good push. I'm glad because they got the two of them just basically got the shit beat out of them for like 2 or 3 years. So
Yeah, they were the young boys or young ladies, I guess.
young ladies. So I mean that's cool and all. I don't know. The only Key Alliance thing is just I don't see it. I don't see it in her. She's okay.
do.
She's okay, but I don't know. Maybe
Her wrestling is really damn good. They just need to have a better package.
I don't know if her wrestling's really. I mean, her wrestling's okay. I don't think it's really damn good. That's my.
I
opinion.
enjoyed it. That roundhouse looks beautiful, by the way.
I mean, she got some good strikes too. You know, it's fine. You know,
Well,
she's
a kickboxer.
I don't like the package. I don't like. You know, I don't, and the whole like like splits pin. It's like okay, whatever. You know.
That I could fair that piece, but everything else I thought.
I think maybe it is a lot of the package that just put me off, you know, to her. Maybe that's why I don't. We'll see what happens with her. You know, for what it's worth, as much as we hate it, you know, and might dislike it. I mean, there are some like Braun Breaker. You know, he's got it. Does look good, you know, as a wrestler.
He does have it.
I mean,
as much as I don't want to give him that satisfaction, he does have it.
It is what
but
it is. Okay, so
the big thing that pissed me off too was I don't know if you saw this, but Ciampa has new entrance music. People have lost their ever-loving minds.
I didn't actually listen to it, but
I haven't. I mean,
I've been staying away from it. I actually read like a thing with him talking like very like emotionally about it. Like, okay, I don't feel as bad, but it's just like,
yeah. He's just doing what he's told, making his money. AEW was back up though, ladies and gentlemen,
AEW
over
Dynamite.
the million mark. Dynamite, I'm sorry. It was back over the million mark at 1.010, up from 869. And I feel like this one, their Go Home for Revolution's also going to be over a mil because it was a show.
It was indeed a show. We're going to talk a lot about it because it's the Go Home show.
Lots to unpack there, ladies.
Whole bunch.
So
but okay, that's good.
Also, Impact was up. Not a whole lot, but they were up. They were up from 109 to 111, so they gained 2,000 folk.
And at least consistent, right? So that's what I'm happy for. I think that they've gotten people in, you know, to kind of the vision of the angle here of what they got going on and everything. I want to talk about Impact here in just a few moments. I'm gonna save it here because I got some thoughts on that.
Yeah. Hopefully, you're gonna talk about the Honor No More stuff.
There's a lot of Honor No More stuff. They do also have, by the way, they do have a mini PPV this week. It'll probably be another little $10 jobber, right? You know, so all that kind of ties in. But yeah, let's talk about that for a second here. And there's a very distinct reason why. So,
okay. SmackDown was down. They're the only one who was down of the week. So they went from 2.173 to 2.114, still over the 2 mil mark.
Okay. I mean,
but so here's the thing though. Rampage was up, but they were low. They scored an all-time low for 2022. I mean, that's a small sample size for the key demo of the 1849 demographic.
Yeah.
So they did a 473 up from 471, so not exactly a huge bump there by any stretch of the imagination, but they drew a .18. Last week they drew a .20. They're usually in the .20 to .26, I
Right.
think, somewhere in there.
And they
So
moved
this
back
was
to their regular time slot, so that was odd.
yeah, and the show wasn't bad.
The show
It wasn't
was
great.
the
It
show was
wasn't bad though.
fine. I mean,
Yeah, the
you
Dragarosa thing.
start off with the banger. You had Andrade El Idolo versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title belts, which I mean, we both assumed Andrade is going to win, right? That's what we were thinking. He did not. Sammy won. They're redoing that of sorts in a three-way this Rampage, which is a live Rampage this coming week in Orlando.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing Darby Allin, Andrade, and Sammy Guevara. So we predicted they're basically throwing just a bunch of people that are along the same level into the mix there for the TNT title. So, but you had that match. You had Wardlow versus Nick Comoroto, which Wardlow won, of course, and it was a decent enough match. You know, it wasn't the typical like Wardlow squash, which we don't hate, but it wasn't a Wardlow squash. It did have a very distinct moment at the afterwards, though, because Sean Spears came out and told Wardlow that, hey, you really got to stop with the power bomb thing. It's just not getting over. And I know you don't know what that means, but it means that people don't like it. So this big old spiel that plays into what happened last night as well. Serena D beat Kayla Sparks was her latest victim of her 5-minute challenge. Jobberino is 2.5 minutes this time. It keeps getting longer. And I swear to God, there is a plan. I am confident there's a plan with that. Maybe Sheeta coming back, maybe Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby,
It's a rookie challenge. It's a rookie challenge.
I
It's
know,
gotta be somebody
but there's gonna be somebody's gonna stand up for the rookies, is my guess. I know you're saying someone's gonna come in and do that. Okay, but either way, there's gotta be a plan. I think somebody is going to stand up to this bully that she is what I'm thinking. Sheeta or Ruby, I don't know.
I'm calling Athena. I'm calling it now.
And that could be it. Either way, there is a plan. I can feel it, right? Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa had the contract signing, typical wrestling contract signing, ended with fisticuffs, right? And then you had Anthony Bowens and Orange Cassidy, which was a qualifier for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, in which they had to during the Mark Henry interview, they had really Yoda had to explain to him that there wasn't any ladders in the match for Orange. It's like no. And Orange did his own rap of sorts, So Bones came out doing the rap, and then Orange Cassidy took it, and then did his super kick thing, and then after he kicked him out of the ring, he put his sunglasses on and just went, "Word to your mother," and drops the mic. Danhausen also cursed Max at one point. He was dressed as a stagehand, and Orange Cassidy's going to Revolution, of course, right? But it was a fine episode. It had one really good match, and then a couple little bits, right? A couple little bits. So
yeah, and I mean, there's tons of bits on Dynamite when we get there, but let's go Impact first. I want to talk.
Okay,
you want to talk?
So Impact Wrestling, which is I feel it's hitting a very good stride, and I think that its consistency in numbers is proof in that. They've got a very good core, new people, with Impact classics, if you would, going on. So this past week, the highlights of the show would be, it's a lot of setup for Sacrifice, like I said, for their pay-per-view this Saturday. So they're kind of setting up matches to be had, that whole 9 yards. So you had a couple good matches, though, from the night, were the round 3 of Jordan Grace versus Matt Cardona for the Impact Digital Media title. This one here was, I'm looking for the exact name of it, because they had it was a no DQ fight. but they called it something like super cheesy. It basically was a no DQ where all the weapons were like tech themed, right? So you had a bunch of keyboards, a computer, trash can full of computer accessories. It was all that stuff. But anyway, it was a no DQ fight, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and Matt Cardona pins her while holding on, like putting his feet up on the ropes, right? So he retains the title. They're kind of continuing this on here, and I really love it because it's bringing out that heel Cardona. One day when Chelsea Green makes her turn, which I think is coming soon, this is going to be all for the better. This coming week, so tonight they're having a number one contender for the for Deonna Purrazzo. It's going to be, or for Mickie James, excuse me. It's going to be either Tasha Steelz or Chelsea Green. They have a match tonight, and the winner goes on to Sacrifice. Deonna Purrazzo had her open challenge again. Any woman can challenge for either one of her titles. And so the AAA was the title that was chosen by the person who came out, and that person was Lady Frost. This was excellent match. Frosted mini kicks versus the Virtuosa. It was good fun. Of course, Deonna retained and everything, but still good fun. It's great to see Lady Frost. We love her.
Yes, absolutely.
You had, other little things happened, other different matches, but you had a lot of the Honor No More stuff going on. So the main event was a 6-man tag, including Honor No More. And after it was over, Honor No More, it was Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Kenny King. They won. After that was over, you had Eddie Edwards come out to explain himself for his turn, right? Ooh. And he loved Ring of Honor when he was there. And, he said he kind of felt betrayed when Ring of Honor was going on their hiatus because of his history with the company and blah, 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 all that stuff. But it didn't matter to him because he was an Impact guy, Mr. Impact, right? The heart of Impact Wrestling and all that shit. And then he said that even up there when Kenny Omega came in and challenged for an Impact title, he was all on board. Rich Swann failed and couldn't get the title, and caused it to go to Kenny Omega. He got disheartened. Okay, but he lost faith in Impact because Impact management failed after that because they didn't choose him to be the guy that would go after it. He didn't give him a shot at Kenny Omega. Josh Alexander was the anointed one and blah, all that stuff. So that was his explanation for his turn.
Interesting. I think that's kind of crappy. I think that's a cop-out.
It's a bit of a cop-out, but at this point you're like, okay, whatever. But it gets good because at the end, his wife, Alicia Edwards, comes out and I was like, what the fuck, bro? And she can't believe what he's talking about and all this stuff. And he just looks at her and says that Honor No More is his family now. And she says it's up to her to decide if she's still his family. And then walks out with them, leaves her in the ring. It's like, bro.
Damn, that took a hard
turn. Like that's your fucking wife, mother of your children, for reals, and good on you. So they set up for this Saturday's Sacrifice. You have Heath defending the Impact title against, or Moose defending the Impact title against Heath. Heath was the whatever. He's the sacrificial lamb, sure. Whoever wins, Chelsea Green or Tasha Steelz taking on Mickie James. I think it's Chelsea. I think that's where, I don't think she wins the title, but that's where she turns heel.
It makes most sense.
It's writing on the wall that she's going to stab Mickie in the back at some point in time, right? It's gotta happen. Good Brothers putting the tag titles up against Violent by Design. Trey Miguel's defending his X Division title against number one contender Jake something. You have the Influence versus
what's his name?
Jake. Oh, something. Say my name.
There you go.
You have the Influence and the Inspiration finally going after the Knockouts tag titles. That's been amusingly long forthcoming. So you got PCO versus Jonah. Jonah won more competition. So Gail Kim's like, hey, that big ugly guy from Honor No More, you get him. You Eddie Edwards going against Rhino.
That should be fun.
There's a pre-show. That's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack. More Honor No More stuff. And my personal main event, I don't give a shit what they actually have as the last event on the thing, but my main event of this show, Jay White versus Alex Shelley.
Oh, shit.
I know. That's worth $10 right there by itself.
That match will fuck.
I know. And Alex Shelley.
Oh, wow. Just thinking about that match.
Impact ring. Ooh.
Been a minute, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been about 2 years, if I remember right. Because he did a quick little thing with Motion Machine Guns, and it was like right around the time that, I think it was around the first anniversary of AEW-ish. But it was only for like a month that he was there, so whatever. Yeah, Alex Shelley versus Jay White. Yes, please give me more. The reason I wanted to save this is because of the beginning of Dynamite last night. And I think it ties in. And I'll circle back to that in a few minutes. So let's start talking about Dynamite because we got to start with Tony Khan's big announcement, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go into Dynamite.
All right. So before we get to the card, let's just talk about the announcement. Let's just get that out of the way. So Tony Khan announces he buys WWE. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding.
Hilarious.
So the rumor circles were flying as to what it could be. There was rumors that he was going to announce that he made a deal with HBO Max and like their entire catalog was going to be on HBO Max and all that. And then there was other reports that they might have bought a company and all these things. And then here comes Tony Khan. And what does he say? He is now the proud owner of Ring of Honor.
So I didn't see that coming. Like you got me so amped up with this whole HBO idea, right? I thought that was going to be it. Now when the show opened and he was physically in the ring, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be it because that's not an in the ring announcement.
Because Shivani usually does all of his announcing for him.
Right. Or he might be on the screen and like they'll be backstage where they might, as going to a commercial, a big announcement, right? That'd be that's what if HBO's watching. They're not. If you are.
They're not.
That is when you'd announce something like that. So he's in the ring and I'm like, oh, I have no idea what this is here. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't following a lot of the rumor mills on this. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see Ring of Honor.
I mean, I saw something out there just the other day saying that, hey, Ring of Honor is for sale. Like, interesting.
I heard that they were looking to be sold, but...
Not that they were looking to be sold to turn into Tony Khan just bought them.
Yeah.
And I think he bought them 100 million% for their catalog. That's it. Like, he wanted their historical TV, basically. The old Bucks matches, the old matches of CM Punk and Joe and all these things. He wanted that.
Do you think that's to make a play for an HBO deal sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because,
totally.
I had a couple thoughts with that. Because this obviously ties into a big storyline that's currently going on in Impact Wrestling, right? So, I'll be very interested to see what happens this Saturday at Sacrifice with Tony Khan now being the owner of Ring of Honor, because the whole shtick has been, and Ring of Honor has announced a super card of whatever, I can't remember. Super card of something. It's in Dallas in April, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's a couple matches that's been announced for it. Yeah. But, it's very interesting because you have the Ring of Honor women's champion in there. You've had the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling champion in Impact, consistently. This whole thing, you've had the Ring of Honor announcer and the actual former now owner of Ring of Honor kind of being personalities around with this whole Honor No More thing. How does that play in? Is this wild speculation deep in the forest of Fancy Booking Island? I mean, down by the secret cave where the polar bear lives, sort of thing, right? It's a lost reference, y'all. Do you think the long-term goal is for him to buy up Impact as well? Make either a mega promotion or a mega kind of like family tree of promotions.
Kind of like WWE.
Kind of like WWE. You've got AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, as opposed to SmackDown, Raw, NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I could see something like that. And by the way, that Supercard's April 1st.
April 1st.
In Fort Worth, Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth. But it's... I don't know.
As I said, that's deep in the forest on Fancy Booking Island. I know. But my brain went there.
So Ring of Honor is still around, which they said that they were going to change. And now that they have Tony's booking ability, I think that does change things. But I like your idea because the Forbidden Door is being crossed again. So Bear Bronson of the Bear Country is going to be wrestling in an Impact ring against Doc Gallows, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
Yeah, so
tonight too, yeah.
Yeah, so we're seeing them working together again. It just kind of feels like that could be a big play, and then it's almost like I know this is gonna sound terrible, and I apologize if this sounds terrible, but it's a baseball reference. You have A ball or double A, triple A, majors. So you could treat Ring of Honor as double A ball.
Right.
Is the Northwest Arkansas Naturals for the Royals, then you have AAA, the Reading Phillies, if you know that reference. The AAA team would be Impact, and then Dynamite would be
the big leagues.
Major. That'd be the big boys. And then you have a progression, you almost have a developmental way to them in some aspects.
That was the other kind of path I was going down there, because I don't think it's going to be business as usual, even with the plan that they've laid forth on Ring of Honor. Now they're going to have the first promotion; they're going to do it, but I really thought that I don't think he's just going to fold it into AEW. I really don't.
I don't either. I after hearing this, really, and now I've had time to digest. It feels like he's going to keep it separate. And some of these people that aren't getting the TV time at AEW.
That's where I was going.
Send them down. Send them down to the minors, if you will.
That's where I'm going.
Teach them how to play left field.
Well, what I was thinking of, for one, Tony Khan, from all accounts, everybody always said that he's a mark like all of us. He's a mark for names. So he even said it tonight on TV. He was a mark for Ring of Honor, right? That's why the first match they had was a Ring of Honor throwback. But the problem that people have been talking about, and it's not necessarily a problem, but it's, all the free agents, everybody out there, and it's like, we can't get we say this every week. He can't get everybody, right? But there's a lot of people he wants to get and different things, and bringing more and more and more in. Who gets what? Well, now you've got a container to put a bunch of those people, right? So you could still You can still sign them. You can still pay them money. You can still get them in your fold and in your tree organization of things. But next year they might be doing just all Ring of Honor things, and then they can do AEW things, or they can do more on one or the other, and you don't have to have people that, have a 15-second promo just to get their allotted, appearance for the week. You can actually have more substance to more people. That, I think, I truthfully think that, as I thought about this a lot deeper, I think that's the real goal of that.
Yeah, and I hate calling Ring of Honor the minors, because it really isn't. But if they did something like that, it would make I don't know. Like, I'm in that camp of this. They could have so much talent in their pool to be able to pluck. Hey, ratings are low for Impact. Moxley, go over to Impact. Do the NXT, like the old NXT rub.
Right.
Those things. Like, it just makes a lot of sense for them to do this. And then, at that point, they're obviously the smaller of the WWE, but they're kind of going in that model. And if you have a giant catalog for HBO Max of all of their stuff, holy shit balls.
To give credit where credit's due, it is a $1 billion model. So, as much as we dislike the product that we see comparative to other wrestling products out there, it is still very successful, and it is what it is. And I think if you're just resting your laurels and trying to do, because I think in part, Tony Khan's long had the conversation and talks about WCW shortfalls and how AEW can't fall into them, right? Well, one of the shortfalls is they tried to be tit for tat, but with only a singular kind of focus. Where this is broadening, and they've done it from the very start, because they've done much more into YouTube and all that stuff, and they're even doing Twitch with AEW games, and they're doing the, so I think that buying these kind of similar mindseted promotions, like, as much as we love GCW, I don't see them as a cross compatibility yet, right? GCW is its own thing. And they're good being their own thing. And it's wonderful for them the way that they are. It's a great product. Yeah. I don't see Tony Khan buying them to kind of get in the fold, right? You'd have basically, and we use the ECW comparisons, but it'd be the exact same thing. ECW got bought. What happened to ECW? Now gone. That's what would happen. But I think this is definitely, it might not be the most fair comparison, Jamie, but I think it's a very good one. The whole minor league baseball or the whole minor league hockey thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you got your Mavericks, you got Chicago Wolves, then you got the Blues, right? You got to go up the ladder. And it doesn't mean that there's not bad things. Plus, it could be good as well. Once again, deep in fantasy booking Ireland, you send Moxley over to Impact, right? For a 3-week stint, to kind of boost some stuff. People go over there to watch him, and what do? Oh, I like that. Who's that guy? What's that? Chris Bay. I want to. That's how you get him in, right? That's marketing. Yeah. That's 101. So, I'll tell you what. You guys give us your thoughts. Do you think he's just going to fold it in? It's going to be AEW 2.0? Do you think that Jamie's idea about minor leagues, is it? Do you have some thought that we haven't thought of? Give us a comment, give us a tweet. Let us know your thoughts on it, because we could talk about this for hours. I'm very intrigued with the possibilities of where Tony might be taking all this. Right. You gonna make it, Jamie?
I think so, man. Like, I'm just spinning on this thing. Like, show me.
I see the wheels in your head going. He didn't. For these you watching, he didn't freeze. That's what when Jamie gets really deep in thought, he basically turns into a statue for a hot minute. I'm
just thinking about all the possibilities. Sorry. All right, so let's talk about the rest.
It's funny when he's doing it with his hand, because literally his hand just. and then he goes. It's great.
Yeah. All right, so the rest of the card. Let's talk about the rest of the card because there's a lot to unpack here, and unfortunately, I don't want to go over everything, but there's a few big nuggets I really want to talk about. First things first, let's just run through the matches. Bryan Danielson versus Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels.
Yes.
Ring of Honor throwback. Got to see a BME attempt. But it still looks just as good as not just as good, but it looks pretty damn good. Not as good as it used to. Danielson wins, of course. Then you got just some Moxley stuff there we'll go into in a little bit. Then the Casino Tag Team Royale.
I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Same. This is the one where it's like
it's like Royal Rumble style.
Yeah, mini Royal Rumble. Winner and Shocker, the Young Bucks. So then you have Bucks, Jurassic Express, and Red Dragon.
We'll circle back to this match for sure.
Yes, for sure. Then you had a Jericho thing, and then you had the CM Punk promo. Lot to talk about there.
Just put a pin in there because that's probably one of the highlights of the night by far. So,
boop.
If not the highlight of the night.
Boop. Yeah, that might be my number one. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. Team Latina won. Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa won. That sounds terrible, but whatever. I don't care.
It's not wrong.
Good match though. It was good, and I do want to call out this. We're not going to talk about this match very much, so I will call this out. Thunder Rosa won clean.
As hell. Well, there's a couple matches tonight that gave me the same thought that you have in your head right now. Because the old adage is you win clean going into pay-per-view, you're not going to win that pay-per-view match.
Exactly.
I don't buy it, and I'll tell you why when we talk about the pay-per-view in a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. Then you had Jay Cargill, Tay Conti bickering.
I'm
Chris
that
Statlander. Yeah, Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch setting up for their buy-in. Whatever. Wardlow versus Cesar Bononi.
It's another female storyline. Even if you don't love it, it's another female storyline. So
I appreciate it.
At least they're doing that good stuff.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Cesar Bononi versus Wardlow. Big ass powerbomb. That's all I got to say about this thing. In a great moment right after the match, but Wardlow is your winner. Shocker.
Yep. And let's just real fast here, just to get on that, because we just get this one out of the way. That throwback to Rampage. Remember I talked about Sean Spears and the whole talk with it. Well, there was a look at the beginning of the match, and he basically was like, "Fuck you," and just started doing power bombs. And after the match, here he comes with the chair. And Wardlow stops him from doing the chair. And they have a stare off, which, of course, Spears whimpers away from. So
yeah, Spears is like looking at him right in the face. He's like, okay, yeah,
you're the guy. So anyway,
yes, it's that alpha dog thing. Yeah,
that was cool. There's a promo that came up before the main event that we're going to tie back into something that happened earlier on that involves these guys. That it's all one thing, and that's the meat of the matter for sure.
100%. Then you had your main event, which was
you had House of Black as well.
Oh yeah, the House of Black vignette, which was beautiful.
It was so good. I know that we probably missed 4 references in there. So Heather, just let us know what they were.
Heather will give them to us, and then also you can follow Heather on her page.
Yes,
Heather
follow
Librarian. Follow Heather. I want to give her a shout out because she's a supporter of us. I want to support the people who support us. So
absolutely. So anyway, it was nice. I still want to see Julia Hart.
I was subscribed.
I still want to see Julia Hart though. I'm just saying.
Yes. Then you had your main event: Adam Cole and Red Dragon versus Adam Page and Silver and Reynolds of the Dark Order. Hell of a match. Whew. Great match. It was not match of the night because that Casino Royale really took it. But this was really damn good. Like if you had not that, this was a really good match.
I mean, it's so good. I mean, it could not be. It's Undisputed Era versus hot as fuck Johnny Hungy and one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, Anna Page.
Yep.
And Alex
Budge. All right, so Adam Cole and Red Dragon do end up getting the win, but they did not beat Hangman. That's the big piece. But then afterwards, stuff happened. So I think we should just go right to the meat of the matter and talk about the MJF,
No, let's talk about
CM Punk.
we're going to talk about that the most. So let's save that. Let's talk about the battle royal was first. Those are the two things we wanted to come back to. Okay, so the battle royal, a lot better than I was expecting. I wasn't quite sure because Casino Battle Royal, they do it like like a Royal Rumble, but in groups, like pods, right? So do 4 pods plus a Joker card. This was just a straight up Royal Rumble, and you start off with FTR and a fully reformed Top Flight. So
it was beautiful.
That was cool to see. Lots of good stuff. You had all the good spots in it from a bunch of different teams. They filled the ring up pretty full too, which I thoroughly appreciated because my complaint over the past few Royal Rumbles has been once it gets to like 8, they gotta knock it down to 3, right? You can't let it get full. Just the chaos is beautiful. Anyway, Danhausen curses Evil Uno at one point, which is odd because they are friends, and I wonder what this is going to do to their relationship.
I know Uno was like, me? Really? What? Me? Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and it comes down to the end. Like there was a glimmer of hope. So there was it came down, the final 3 were both of the Young Bucks and Dante Martin. It was the Young Bucks, not Dante Martin, Darius Martin, and FTR. And out comes Red Dragon to help eliminate FTR, right? And they're all playing. They're on the team of Young Bucks, right? They're all getting along now. Okay. Which everybody sees is like no, you don't trust each other. They don't trust each other at all. But they're kayfabe like they do. But so you're like yeah, Darius is fucked. But he put on a hell of an effort in a return match. I'm just gonna say. He got eliminated Nick and then got down to Matt. And he got close a few times there where he almost eliminated him. And I thought, holy fuck, what if they actually do this and put Top Flight in? Or
that would have been insane.
I
thought that too.
Or if it's like a double elimination at the exact same time and Tony Khan's like, you're both in. Make it a 4-way. But nope. Numbers are too much and the Bucks moved on. So afterwards, the 4 of them, the Bucks and Red Dragon are all like buddy, chum in the ring. So that's going to be a great fallout this Sunday because, yeah, it's going to happen. But now we can move on to everything CM Punk and MJF related. Okay?
All right. So let's just talk about this. CM Punk comes out. Yeah, this is just really a lot to unpack here. So CM Punk comes out and he questions like if he's the bad guy, and he was really wondering if it was real from MJF, and he thought, yeah, this is real. This is really him. And he said what Max did took courage and all this, and then Punk can't shake the feeling that he's being gaslit. Like he's just
right, which everybody assumes this was happening, right? It's like there's no way, but you never know. Who knows, right?
Yeah. He says, he doesn't think Max is lying, but, where the question is in his sincerity. Like, that's the big piece for him. Punk notes, the famous picture of him and Steve Austin, talking about that thing. And then Austin left wrestling and he wasn't mad at the world since, he's been back. And then just talking about taking out D Malenko, who suffers from Parkinson's, and like he just kind of went down this whole laundry
all the
stuff.
shit that MJF does on a reg.
Yeah. So then here comes MJF.
He calls out. He wants Max to come out just by himself.
Yes.
He wants the Max from last week to come out. And he does. No music.
No music. He comes out. And Punk tells him about all the awful things he's done in wrestling, referencing the Undertaker spot where he put the ashes of his
Of
dead
Paul
manager
Bear.
on him. Yeah.
Yep.
And he talks about like pouring alcohol down alcoholic's mouth and then like pushing somebody so hard he got fired. I don't know who that was.
I don't know either because I wasn't when he was
I
like on
missed
his
that
like
reference.
when he was on his big run in WWE. I wasn't watching WWE, so I'm foggy on that shit too.
Yeah, and the big piece on this too is like, you know, he asked himself, like, am I a good guy? And he's like, I'm trying. And he stuck out his hand to shake MJF's hand. MJF knocks his hand out of the way and hugs him.
Took a minute.
As
He took a minute. There was a
yeah,
stare down, but he took a minute.
and then Punk has his arms out like, what the hell's going
What the
on? And
fuck,
then
right?
he finally embraces him, and they're like having this great moment. MJF scoots back just a little bit, and here comes the low blow with the leg right
Kicks him
into the balls.
square in the penis.
Yeah,
Which, you're
it looks
thinking
like
is coming when it happens, right? Puts his hand out there, he's going to slap it away and low blow him, right? No, he hugs him. Like, oh.
yeah. Then he hits him with the worst finisher in all of professional wrestling, the Heat Seeker. It doesn't suit him. I'm sorry.
I don't hate it. I know you loathe it. You don't loathe the actual move. You don't like it for Max. I know that.
It doesn't fit MJF at all.
I don't think I think it's just fine. It's not the best, but I don't hate it like you do for him. It's fine.
He needs, I don't know, like not necessarily a rock bottom, but something like of that ilk.
It's got to be a power move of sorts. He's not going to do anything flippy or spinny. He's got a submission already, which is an armbar. Armbar.
Armbar.
I don't know what else he'd have. I think it's fine because most of his matches he wins on the sly anyway. So who cares?
That's fair. That's fair. So he hits him with that, and then he waves it out. Everybody come out. And here comes MJF and Sean Spears. MJF, Wardlow and Sean Spears. He puts his hand out. Wardlow puts the ring on his hand, and then he
begrudgingly puts the ring on his hand.
Oh, very. You can see it in his face. And then MJF punches Punk, gets him all sorts of bloody crimson mask.
Punk was wearing a plain white T-shirt, which should have been the dead giveaway at the very beginning, right?
Yeah. So he was wearing that, and then at that point, MJF unbuttons his shirt, shows off his brand new shirt that's available on Pro Wrestling Tees and AEWshop.com of the picture of him and Punk when he was a kid on a white background shirt. It's a fantastic shirt. I might buy that shirt.
Go for it. 20% off. Use the code REVOLUTION.
Exactly. So after this, he's still beating him up, just mask everywhere. And one of the things I loved about this whole interaction was he rubbed his hand on, MJF rubbed his hand on CM Punk's face and then rubbed it on his shirt on the picture. Like tainted the picture itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like lots of storytelling here. Then he cuts this promo right afterwards. And it took me a minute. I'm like, I've heard this before. I have heard this before. And I was right. This was almost to the T, an exact promo CM Punk cut in Ring of Honor.
Like his attention, like their attention to the games is fantastic.
It was insane.
Wow.
Then so he said like the greatest trick that the greatest trick that the devil's ever done is make people think he doesn't exist.
Right, the Usual Suspects line. Sure.
Yeah. And then he goes, on Sunday, you're gonna find out that I am the devil. Like that whole thing, like, oh my God, like
interesting.
To the like perfection. Like it's out on Twitter. Do yourself a favor, find it. It's when he was the Ring of Honor champion. I can't remember when it was exactly, but it was damn near like word for word.
That's
and
great.
It's just perfect. So that just adds that other layer. Fast forward now to right after Wardlow's match.
Now, to tie into that, I want to say this
Yeah.
because after he gave the ring to him, the whole time Wardlow was in the corner, begrudgingly being there, right?
Mhm.
So after Wardlow's match and before they have the main event, they're backstage, and I don't know. Marvez is in between them, whatever. But it's Sean
Yeah.
Spears and Wardlow, and they're kind of bickering and talking about things, and yeah, take it from there because you have your notes in front of you here. I didn't actually jot this down, but the end result is fantastic.
So right after the match, Marvez is talking with Wardlow and Spears backstage, and it's getting a little heated. They're just kind of going at it a little bit, talking about the power bombs and whatnot. And then MJF comes up and goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know, if you win the Face of Revolution and win the TNT Championship, you can keep it.
You get to
So
keep it. Yeah,
you get to
you get to
keep it.
keep it.
Not like you're gonna win it anyway." And to which Warlow responds, "It's because I'm too busy making sure you win your matches." To which MJF straight bitch slaps freaking
Like
Warlow right in the
bitch
face, and then they
slaps
had to
him
stare down.
hard.
Yeah, then
Like
he's like,
Charlie
"Just remember."
Murphy bitch slap, just bam.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm the one who pays you, not AEW, and I have no problem throwing you and your family on the street." Like, just went off. So totally sets up for the moment at Revolution that we are all going to see. It's happening at Revolution.
It's
Calling it
gotta
now.
happen. I think it's gotta happen. He's gonna turn on him. It's gonna cost him the shenanigans. Gonna lead to CM Punk getting the victory, I believe. We'll talk about the card here in a second. And I think though that the fallout will start with that. With him being so mad at Wardlow, he's going to fire them, interrupted by Tony Khan to have, because we all know he's already part of the roster, but to kayfabe that no, he is all elite. He's no
Yeah,
longer your bodyguard,
I've already worked with him.
and
He's
you have your next line of sight for MJF.
Yes, because I really want to see Wardlow and Sean Spears in a match so
I don't
bad.
see Warlow and everybody in him. He is so over. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
So over.
so over, and I think he's improved himself so much. Even though he mainly comes down to just his power bombs, we've seen
Mhm.
against CM Punk, against even the Nick Camarado match, they sustained that through a full commercial break, right? So
Mhm.
I think he's got it. We all know he's got a. I mean, WWE's interested in him. He's a big muscly man, of course, but I think he's got the chops for it. It's time. It's time to let the war dog loose.
Yes, absolutely. So I did want to touch on the ending of the main event
Go for it. Go
because
for it, and
the
then we'll do
main,
the card.
yeah. So the main event was amazing. Like I was talking about, it just had everything you wanted. Um, Reynolds takes the boom from Cole 1, 2, 3, who's your winner. But after the match, Hangman fights off all three, and then he goes for a buckshot lariat on Cole. Fish kicks out his legs, and he falls down. To which, right after that, they bust out some duct tape, and they duct tape freaking Hangman to the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he watches his friends basically get annihilated. He sees Silver take the high low from Red Dragon, that their vintage move, if you will. And then you got to see Alex Reynolds taking a Panama Sunrise from Adam Cole. Afterwards, like, Cole gets into Page's face, he headbutts him in the face, and then he gets for that he gets super Hangman gets super kicked in the face.
Mm-hmm.
They Then my favorite part was they grabbed the belt. Cole grabbed the belt, put it on Hangman's shoulder, and was just like, this is the last time you get to hold this thing.
Because this
You know,
belongs to me now.
this belongs to me now. Exactly.
Oh, he's such a good villain.
That's why I don't
God.
think he's gonna win. It makes me
Well,
sad.
Well, we shall find out. Revolution is this coming Sunday. Available on BR Live and all other places you buy things and stuff. So the card itself is loaded, which is good. There's a lot of matches and a lot of opportunity because we have a spirited competition to finally resume. Our current champion, sitting to my right, if you're watching me, has yet to defend the title, which he has won as the inaugural Total Spotfest pay-per-view champion. So this definitely will be his first defense of that belt between himself, me, and somebody who used to hold a lot of belts and now has none. So, Megan. Anyway, so we haven't got our picks in yet because the card still, there's a few little things left to talk about. And I'm not going to lie, we just didn't get around to it today. It happens. So we will have picks and we'll talk about our picks, but we're going to go over the card as we know it, as it is right now. As of Wednesday evening after Dynamite, this is the card as it stands. So you have 2 buy-in matches. You have Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch payoff. Like I said, they have a feud going. Cool. Great.
Yep.
Good. You also have making his pay-per-view debut. We'll say that. Hook versus QT Marshall. So
Send Hook.
They're fucking sending him to Orlando. It's going to be great. Card itself goes as such. You've got a Tornado Trios match. Andrade El Idolo, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy versus Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin. One of the 3 of those, Andrade, Sammy, or Darby, will be the TNT champion. I still think it's going to be Andrade. Whatever, but
I kind of do too. Not even gonna lie.
I hope it is. I think it's good storytelling. And Tornado Trios match. You've got Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Yes, please. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. God, that's gonna be great. You've got what's probably gonna be the match is probably gonna steal the show. And if it was in Japan, I'm sure it'd get like 1 million stars. CM Punk versus MJF. Dog collar match. Look out. Woo! And you've got triple threat for the AEW tag titles. Young Bucks versus Red Dragon versus the Jurassic Express. Have you noticed that all the promotional material and everywhere you look, they're no longer referred to as Jurassic Express? It's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Really? Yeah. They're introduced that way. It's odd. I think it's in preparation of Jungle Boy becoming a single star in the not too distant future. It's my guess. Anyway, you have face of the Revolution ladder match. So Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, a lot of beef going on. Ricky Starks, Orange Cassidy. They're the lean cut beef, I guess. And then you definitely have one more participant. Tomorrow night on Rampage, you've got the final qualifying match. It's Ethan Page versus Christian Cage, and the winner of that joins the match. It is possible there could be a surprise contestant.
Swerve.
If there is, it's Swerve. That's my guess too.
Swerve. 100% Swerve.
I think Swerve. I think it will be. I think it'll be a 7-man. I really thought Swerve was going to be a 6th person. This whole Cage versus Page thing kind of came out of nowhere, but cool. I'm good with it. TBS title match, Tay Conti going up against Jade Cargill. You have the women's world title match, Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And what Tony Khan has said is going to definitely be the main event, show ender, Adam Cole, Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Title. That could be a match of the year candidate too.
I am counting on it.
On the out, it should be. That match should be a spot fest. So, yeah, we've got 11 total matches, including the buy-in. So it's gonna be up in the air. Who's taking home the Spotfest PPV title? We shall see.
I am
No.
retaining it.
It's coming back to its creator. It's going to come back and be in my lap. I'll defend it just as much as you did too, and I'll just have it ready to go.
Consecutive pay-per-views I have won.
I know you've been killing it. You've not had this winning streak ever. You know, every once in a while we'd get one up on Megan, but she always come back and crush us. But you've gone 4 in a row.
I'm for life.
All right. Well, that's good and all. So we will be back next Thursday to have those results from Revolution, from our pay-per-view, who's got the belt, along with the fallout from Revolution, everything else going on. What the hell is happening in Impact after a Sacrifice this weekend? We don't, is Ring of Honor, is AEW, Tony Khan, are they going to start making their way into Impact? Maybe we'll start to see some stuff. We'll find out this weekend. So lots of good stuff this weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else? Anything? I think that's everything. I don't know.
I can't think of anything other than, once again, of course, happy birthday, Audrey.
Happy birthdays to you, Audrey. You're definitely one of my favorite Faulkner children. Let's put it that way.
She is. She's really funny.
She's adorbs. She's adorbs. We're gonna enjoy going to DWF. Tickets still available for DWF, by the way. If you want to go join us, come join us. And we'll talk about that next month. But like I said, we'll be back on Thursday. Keep an eye on our Twitter. Give us a shout, too. What are your thoughts on Tony Khan, Ring of Honor, Impact, any of this? Something else? Who knows? Let's hear some theories. Theories are always fun.
Theories are fun.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. Dirty bit. Dirty bit.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.